This was for the beer drinkers.
You know, it's funny, lately I've been reflecting back on my previous life prior to sobriety and how counterproductive it was if I had any hopes in getting better, and some memories that I keep thinking about that were great memories and still are to this day is when I was touring the world with Bam's band Fuckface Unstoppable. My job was to be the biggest piece of shit known to man, like a walking disaster, which is very entertaining to watch. So Bam came up with the concept of Pill Collins, and you can open up for Fuckface Unstoppable every show that we play. So Bam and Chad Ginsberg from CKY, they came up with this concept of me introing the band every night, covering the song In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins. But the twist that we came up with that I was going to put on the act was, if it was 21 and above, I would come out completely naked with a bottle of wine, just like singing the song, throwing wine on the audience, adding words, taking words away from it. And if it was 18 and over, I would come out with a thong on that barely, and I mean barely, covered my dick and ass at best. What I would do is that the lights would be all dim and they'd have like fog machines going, and it really set the tempo. It was actually rad. I'd come out and, you know, I'd start singing the song, and as I'm singing the song, I would intro each member of the band, right? And then finally, when it got to like the climax of that song, which what everyone knows is that heavy drummy, then I would intro Bam, and the fucking rock show of FFU would kick off, and as Bam would come out, he would come out running full speed and just give me a flying jump kick, and I'd go flying, the wine would go everywhere, I'm naked rolling around on stage, and then they would just go into their full gear rock show. And it's funny because my role was to be the biggest pile of shit you could find. And I don't really know any other job that would be more desirable or more fitting for a fucking junkie than to have a gig that requires you to get as fucked up as possible every night. But when the show would end and we'd board the tour bus, like, I wasn't happy. I would, you know, deep down inside, I knew that sooner or later the party was going to end, and what was I going to do when it ended, you know? Like, and I always knew that it would play out one of two ways. Like, I was either going to get sober or I was going to die.
Novak comes out singing the Phil Collins song as Phil Collins. He jumps up on a table. The bouncers are trying to get him down, so he decides to jump from the table to the bar. Now the bouncers are pissed, so they yank him off the bar. They're throwing him out. Except they get to Bam, and Bam says, "Fuck you, you're not throwing him out." So Novak, in his high and mighty, turns around. He decides he's going to get up on top of the PA speakers and sing. He decides it's a good idea to jump off. This is at least 12 feet in the air. I looked up at him. I said, "Dude, don't jump." And he jumped. You could hear it instantly when he hit the ground. Over the bass amp, over the guitar amps, over the singing, you could just hear the bones break. You knew it hurt. You knew he broke bones. It was instant. I ran over to him, Helped him up. We sat him down on the monitor speakers in the front. I asked him if he was okay. He shook his head. I'm okay. I stepped back and he kept singing. I could see it in his face that he was not okay. He was turning pale, and I knew he needed help. It was serious. This was a lot of pain. So I helped him up off the monitors. He couldn't put weight on his foot. So I end up picking him up, carrying him out.
Compared to what I was doing before these opportunities arose, this is like a walk in the park. It's like a fucking dream, number one. And number two, let's say worst case scenario, the stunt or skit goes terribly wrong and I get hurt and break some bones. That means I'm rushed to the hospital, which means doctors now prescribe me pain meds. And after all I wanted to do was heroin and pills, but that wasn't acceptable, right? But now that I've broken bones, I'm hurt, and the doctor writes me a script, it's like a justifiable high that nobody gives me shit over, which is what I've been in search of since day one. It's, again, like a junkie's dream.
Yeah. Is your foot still hot?
You know, I can remember one skit clearly that I didn't want to do. And Bam's like, dude, you got to do the gap. You got to do the gap. And it's like a 12, 13-foot gap with this rainbow connection piece. And not to mention, I've been like drinking and drugging for years on end at this point. Not skating, not prepared to do this in any way, shape, or form. But again, I'm like, fuck it.
Go for it, you little bitch.
You won't give me the right advice. Where's Tony at? He'll give me advice.
If you need to bail, you can just take one step.
Yeah, so basically you just have to make it to at least that goal part.
Yeah. Right.
I'm truly terrified right now.
What's the worst that could happen?
Free pain pills from the hospital.
Oh my God!
You alright?
Ow!
You alright?
Ow! Ow, dude, that was not even fun or nothing. It was
And when I go to try to clear it, my one ankle makes it to the ramp and the other one makes it down to the gap, and both at the same time, simultaneously, I break both ankles. And it was excruciating. And the pain was unbearable, but in the back of my mind, I was so fucking happy because I knew that I was now about to go to the hospital, get free pain pills, justifiable, excusable high, and all would be right with the world. Now I can be like allowed to be drug addict. Listen to this noise. Yeah. And I'm like rewarded. I'm rewarded with I remember, I forget who it was, but someone comes over and hands me a glass of Crown Royal, and I remember shaking my pocket, and you could hear the pills jingling, and it was a perfect day had by Hall in my mind, and everyone's like, fuck yeah, Novak, like you killed it today, great footage. And in these movies that like, not only do I get paid to be in and on, I get like notoriety, credibility, feel a sense of purpose, have a direction, and I get paid for it, right? And that's like a billion times better than where I came from or what I was doing. So when a stunt would arise that nobody wanted to do, I'm like, fuck yeah, put me in, coach. You know, that's just one of the millions. And then the other one I can recall as it was yesterday was filming Jackass and doing the doo-doo falls. The time to film came, I was ready for them just to like get me and let's just, you know, shoot it and put it behind us. And they got me like, all right, we're ready to shoot. And I go look and I'm like, holy fuck. Like,
I'm Brandon Novak, and this is Doo-Doo Falls.
thank God for that fucking helmet. And I wasn't gonna wear a helmet at all for that, but Knoxville's like, if you should like really wear a helmet, and thank God I did, because that helmet literally cracked. I think all of my ribs except one or two. I got a concussion, and again, it made for great footage, and it allowed me to go directly to the hospital, which which at the time I was super stoked for because I'm like, yes, another justifiable, excusable high where everyone will condone it because I need it because the doctor gave me the scripts because of my broken ribs.
You have any advice for Novak if he could watch this or hear this?
No. He's a lost cause.
You think he'll get better, though, right?
Yeah, but, I mean, let's face it. It's just a matter of time when he's going to get his hands on some pills and shit again. He'll never change. He's a lifer.